Hi children, in today's lesson, I'll teach you the division operation with fractions. Now let's start with the first subtitle, dividing unit fractions by whole numbers. Now we'll learn this subtitle with a simple model. Now let's read the question of this model. Divide the unit fractions by whole numbers using the models given. This is our question. For the first picture, we have two equivalent rectangles. The first rectangle is this, and the second rectangle is this. The first rectangle is a whole, and it's represented with 1/6 as a fraction. And the second rectangle, equivalent to the first, had been divided into three equal parts as you see. So we are dividing our whole, represented with 1/6, into three equal parts. So we are dividing 1/6 with 3. And as a result, each equal parts represented with 1/18. So because of this fact, the result should be 1/18. I think you understood me. Now let's come to the second one. Again, we have two equivalent rectangles. The first is my whole, and it is represented with 1/4. So I am dividing 1/4. I am dividing 1/4 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm dividing 1/4 with 6. And in the second rectangle, as you see, we divided the rectangle into 6 equal parts, and each part is represented with 1/24. It means if I am dividing 1/4 with 6, the result will be 1/24. I think you understand. Divide 1/6 with 1, 2, 3. The result is 1/18. Divide 1/4 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Divide 1/4 with 6. The result is 1/24. Did you understand this simple model? Now let's continue with the next page and next type of model. Dividing whole numbers by unit fractions. Now this is our subtitle, and we'll learn this subtitle with a model. Divide the whole numbers by unit fractions using the models given. Now, in the first one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 equivalent squares, and each square is represented with 1. So I have 9 as a whole number, as my whole number, right here, 9. And each square represented with 1, divided into 2 equal parts. So if you divide the whole into 2 equal parts, one of them will be represented with 1/2 as a fraction. So I am dividing all squares with 1/2. I am dividing in total 9 with 1/2. So in the result, how many 1/2 or how many region represented with 1/2 I have in this picture? Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 17, 18. I have 18 pieces, equivalent pieces, or 1/2. I think you understood this figure. Now let's try to make the next one in a short time. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 as whole number. I'm dividing this whole number. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 over each of them represented with 1 over 6. So I'm dividing each this rectangle represented with 1 with 1 over 6. So in total I'm dividing 4 with 1 over 6. So in 4, how many 1 over 6 I have? Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In total 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 18 plus 6 is 24. So in the result, I have finally 24 if I divide 4 with 1 over 6. I think you understood very well these two models. Now let's continue with the next page, dividing fractions. The first example will show us how we make the division operation. We know the multiplication operation. There is only one rule for division operation. If you learn this rule, then you will make multiplication, and you know the multiplication operation very well. Now, I am dividing in the first example. I am dividing 3 over 2 with 4 over 5. The first ratio or fraction is 3 over 2. I should write 3 over 2 here, and I should change the division to multiplication, but I should multiply 3 over 2 with the multiplicative inverse of 4 over 5. What is the multiplicative inverse of 4 over 5? It means 5 over 4. I think you understand. The first fraction should be the same times, then change the places of numerator and denominators of the second fraction. It means multiply the first fraction with the second fraction's reciprocal. So we know this multiplication operation how we may make. Is there any simplifications between numerators and denominators? No. So multiply 3 with 5, 15, and multiply with 2 with 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Is it okay? I'll not write this fraction as a mixed fraction. Now let's continue with the next question. Remain the same. The first fraction, 7 over 12, then times, change the places of numerator and denominator of the second fraction. It means 7 over 12 should be multiplied with 18 over 13. Now, if you divide 12 and 18 with 6, you will get 3 for 18, you will get 2 with 4, 12. So 7 times 3, 7 times 3 over 2 times 13. 7 times 3 is 21, 2 times 13 is 26. There is no simplification with these two numbers. I think you understand very well how we may make the division operation algebraically. Continue with the next page. And I have a mixed number for the first question. And I should change this fraction into its improper form. How? It's very easy. Multiply 3 with 16. 3 times 16 is 48. 48 plus 7 is 55. Over 16 times 2. Instead of 2 over 4, I should write 4 over 2. That's all. Is there any simplification? Yes, of course. Between 4 and 16. 4 over 4 is 1. 16 over 4 is 4. So in the result, 55 should be multiplied with 1. The result will be 55. And 4 with 2. 4 times 2 is 8. That's all. I'll not write the results if the result is an improper fraction in its mixed fraction form. Now let's continue with the next one. Change this mixed fraction into its improper fraction form. 9 times 8 is 72. 72 plus 5 is 77 over 8 is its improper form times 8 over 11. 8 over 11. Is there any simplification? Yes, of course. Between 8 and 8. 8 over 8 is 1. 77 over 11 is 7. 11 over 11 is 1. So the result is 7 over 1. The result is 7 over 1. As you see. Now let's continue with the next page. Both are now mixed numbers. Change them into their improper form. 4 times 6 is 24. 24 plus 2 is 26 over 6 times. Now let's find its improper form. 1 times 12 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. 13 over 12. But I should write in multiplication 12 over 13. Now let's finish. If you divide 26 with 13, the result will be 2. 13 with 13, the result will be 1. And if you divide 6 with 6, the result is 1. 12 with 6, the result is 2. So at the end, 2 times 2 is 4. Over 1 times 1 is 1. 4 over 1 is 4. What about the second one? 9 and 1 over 5. 9 times 5 is 45. 45 plus 1 is 46 over 5 times 7 times 6 is 42. 42 plus 4 is 46 over 7. Sorry. I should change the places of numerator and denominators. And let's write the improper form of this fraction here. 46 over 7. And I should write, if you change this division operation to multiplication, I should write 40 instead of 46 over 7, 7 over 46. Now between 46 is the simplification. 46 over 46 is 1. The result will be 7 over 5 at the end, finally. I think you understood very well. Let's continue with the next page. Again, the same question type, and change them, these mixed fractions, into their improper form. 4 times 6 is 24. 24 plus 2 is 26 over 6 times 1 times 12 is 12. 12 plus 1, 13. Sorry about that. These questions are the same. Sorry, I copied 2 times. Sorry about it. Let's continue with the next page. Divide the fractions by whole numbers. Now, 18 over 5 over 2. 18 over 5 should be written again. 18 over 5 times, then instead of 2, what I should write? You know 2 is 2 over 1. If you change this division operation to multiplication operation, then you should change the second fraction into its reciprocal. It means instead of 2 over 1, you should write 1 over 2. Continue with simplifications. Between 18 and 2, there is simplification. If you divide with 2, 2 over 2 is 1, 18 over 2 is 9. Then multiply numerators finally. 9 times 1 is 9. 5 times 1 is 5. And the result is 9 over 5. What about the second one? 4 over 5. 4 over 5 should be written the same. And then change this division operation to multiplication. Instead of 12, write 1 over 12. Is there any simplification between numerators and denominators? Yes, between 4 and 12. If you divide 4 with 4, the result will be 1. If you divide 12 with 4, the result will be 3. 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 3 is 15. Any problem? No, I think you know very well now. Let's continue with the next one. Now, 1 over 2 times 17 should be changed into 1 over 17. The result will be 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 17 is 34. What about the next one? 1 over 12 should be written as 1 over 12. After that, instead of division operation, write multiplication, but instead of 11, you should write 1 over 11. Then, 1 times 1 is 1, 12 times 11, 132. Okay, now let's continue with the next page. Divide the whole numbers by fractions. 8 over 4 over 9. It means 8 times 9 over 4. Instead of 8, you may write 8 over 1. Is there any simplification with numerators and denominators? Yes, between 8 and 4 there is simplification. Divide with 4. If you divide 4 with 4, you will get 1. If you divide 8 with 4, you will get 2. Then continue with multiplication operation after these cross simplifications. 2 times 9 is 18. 1 times 1 is 1. 18 over 1 is 18. Now let's continue with the next. This is 12. 12 over 1 right here. And this is division. Change it into multiplication. This is 8 over 7. But if you write multiplication operation, you should write 7 over 8. Now, is there any simplification between numerators and denominators? Yes, between 12 and 8. If you divide with for both these numbers, for 8 you will get 2, for 12 you will get 6. Sorry, 3. We are dividing with 4. So 3, 12 over 4 is 3. 3 times 7 is 21, and 1 times 2 is 2. This is the final result, 21 over 2. This is the result of this division operation. Now let's continue with the next page. Divide the whole numbers by unit fractions. Now I am finding the number of 1 over 20 is in 4. This is the meaning of the division operation, you know. So write the first number 4 as 4 over 1. Then division operation, change it into multiplication operation. Then instead of 1 over 20, write 20 over 1. The result, 4 times 20 is 80. 1 times 1 is 1. 80 over 1 is 80. The result is 80. Now what about this one? It's equal to 9 over 1 times 7 over 1. Not 1 over 7, 7 over 1. 9 times 7 is 63. 1 times 1 is 1. 63 over 1 is 1. 63. Now, this is our new subject. I think you understand very well the division operation with fractions. Now, what about the word problems on dividing fractions? Now, let's read the first question and try to understand how you may use the division operation and word problems. Of course, here there is a little number of questions. You should solve many questions to get better information on this subject. Now for the first question. Kate, who runs a daycare center, bought 14 gallons of paint to do up the classrooms. 14 gallons, don't forget it. How many classrooms can he pay? Can he get painted in all if each room requires 7 over 4 gallons? Now, this is my main subject. Each room requires 7 over 4 gallons, and I have 14 gallons in total. So I should share these 14 gallons into these classrooms equally. Each needs 7 over 4 gallons. So I should find the number of 7 over 4s in 14. It will be equal the number of classrooms. So 14 should be divided with 7 over 4. It means 14 over 1 times 4 over 7. Any simplification? Yes, between 14 and 7. 14, if you divide 14 with 7, you will get 2. If you divide 7 with 7, you will get 1. As in the result, 2 times 4 is 8. And over 1 times 1 is 1. 8 over 1 is 8. So I have 8 classrooms. Okay, and the subject we have 8 classrooms. Now let's continue with the next. A total of 124 over 3 tons of gravel was loaded onto 4 dump trucks, each carrying an equal quantity. So I should share this total amount onto 4 dump trucks equally. How many tons of gravel was transported by each truck? Yeah, it's easy. How can I share this total number of tons of gravel into 4 trucks equally? Let's divide 124 over 3 with 4. I'll find the tons of gravel transported by each truck. Now let's continue with this division operation. The final result will be the answer of this question. 124 over 3 should be written the same. Division should be transferred to multiplication, and 4 should be written as, because of being 4, 1 over 4, 4 over 1, I should write here 1 over 4. It's reciprocal. Is there any simplification between these numbers? Yes, between 124 and 4. Both are divisible with 4. 4 over 4 is 1. What about this one? 124 over 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 0. In 4 I have only 1 4. So 4, 31. 31. And final result, 31 times 1. 31 over 3 times 1 is 3. That's all. That's all. 31 over 3 tons of gravel transported onto each truck. Okay, this is the answer of this question. Now, I think we came to the last page and there is no question on this page. So we have just finished our video course. And in this lesson, we learned many things. We learned division, the meaning of division. We made some division operations with models, and we know multiplication operation from our previous lessons, and by using this information that we know from our previous lessons, we easily learned the division operation with fractions. Don't forget to make much more practices than we made here. Okay. Now our lesson is over. Hope to see you on next lesson, on next video. Bye.